Hey everyone, it's your highly melanated BFF, John, also known as Dr. John Paul.
And Jordan, also known as Joho, from the one and the only award-winning show, the Black Fat Femme Podcast.
Guess what, everyone? Drum roll, please.
The BFF Experience is back for another year on October 12th.
At the Diversionary Theater in San Diego, California.
This year we'll have performances from Amber St. James and Strawberry Corn Cakes with guest panelists Angel Mawa and Kelsey Daniels.
Doors will be open at 6:30 p.m. and you can grab your tickets at diversionary.org/Clark Cabaret.
Keep listening to us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ooh, I know that's right. The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Dr. John Paul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am your host, Dr. John Paul, and I'm not gonna even fuck with y'all today. Normally I got a whole little intro and a whole little situation and things that I do, but we are here with the godfather of podcasting.
Yes.
And I just what a moment. In the words of Whitney Houston, what a moment. What is most pleasing to me? What is most pleasing to me? But how are you, doll? We're going to jump in.
Wow, I mean, honestly, y'all, same. Fam, what's good? It's Jordan or Joho, your illustrious mistress, co-hostess. And this truly is a career highlight. Like, I'm very excited. Like, I really cannot even, when you walked in, I was like, okay, let me be like a nice, proper girl that's like,
correct.
Hello, nice to meet you. Because I'm not trying to be that person that's like, oh my God, hello. But truly to just keep it chill. I mean, as we go on, I promise I'll be good. But I really am so thrilled and so grateful that you're here with us. Yeah. But John, let them know who the fuck it is today.
My God. In heaven, we have the one and only Kid Fury with us on the Black Fat Femme Podcast today. How are you, sis?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm feeling good. Thank
with
you
the skin, to the skin.
Yeah, it's skinning.
Okay?
Like the joy is just, you're just radiating so much joy, and it is just so. I'm so like.
I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Okay, period. Yes, she is. Actress. Thank you. Can we also name?
Almond joys I had last night. Here I am, in the middle of sleep.
Almond joys? Do you just turn over and eat the almond joy?
You just it's just on your pillow. You're like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let's also say this is also, y'all, what's different this time is that John and I are in the studio together.
Yes.
This is the first time that we've done the podcast in the studio together. Shout out to Melrose Podcast for being in the studio today. Yeah. And Kid Fury is our first in-person guest we've had to do recording with. So this is truly momentous all around. So thank you for being here.
My God. What a moment.
A moment.
Yeah. What a moment. So we are going to kick off our show. So every week, for those who are new that listen to the show, for those who are watching for the first time, we kick off our show every week where we give our flowers to Tisha Campbell in our segment called Still Here.
Okay.
I'm still here. Yes.
Halloween is coming up, and now I'm thinking.
Stop! Look at the costume.
You gonna be her?
Hold up. Actually,
you should do it. Do it.
See, I haven't seen anyone do it yet.
You should.
No one has. That would be.
I think you should. The black outfit.
Listen,
with the blonde
with the little that little crop jacket. Please
do it.
I love. You can't tell me nothing about that lady. Kooky, crazy, wild, whatever.
Same.
Everything.
She is an icon.
I hope one day she listens to this podcast and realizes that we do this every week because we love her.
Right. It's not. This is not shade. Like, we honestly we love her. Like, initially when we shopped this show, like, the music was supposed to be and would have been, if we could have cleared it and gotten the rights, would have been the music to play at the beginning of this segment. So yes, we are definitely huge. And you know what? Stranger things have happened.
Listen.
Yes.
Listen.
After this episode, she hears it and she's like, "No, give them the rights. Listen."
And I would cry. I literally would cry.
Year 4 of that contract, we have the rights.
Yes.
Damn, baby.
Tisha Campbell, if you are listening, we would love the rights. But with that being said, we are going to jump in to this segment and we are going to ask, as we start, if you could name 2 comedians who help kind of center your comedy, who would those comedians be? And then Joho, I'll throw it to you and then I'll go last.
Okay, so I think it's actually great that we're talking about Tisha and starting this off and in the seriousness, of how important she is, because the two people I would name, one is Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Martin, from the stage, like from stand up on the stage, transitioning into network television. I think he was just truly, truly iconic on both levels.
Yeah.
And created things that have just transitioned from one generation to the next generation. And but the thing about Martin is, as a 36-year-old, like, it's just that everything about it encapsulates like my childhood, adolescence, for the style, the colors, the way that we were as Black people freer to just communicate as us on network TV was really gorgeous. But my favorite thing about that sitcom, especially when you compare it to a lot of other sitcoms led by stand-up comics, Martin, every single performer stood out. Lead, supporting, recurring, every single character on that show was a standout. Tisha Campbell, Tashina Arnold, everyone was doing the work to make that thing iconic and memorable for the ages. And the other person I would say is Yvette Lee Bowser, creator of Living Single, another iconic show that really gave you a lot of other shows like it, namely a show called Friends, which then, itself, I guess, inspired a whole bunch of other mediocre white shows. But Living Single is another one, again, from the communication to the style to the performances of every character. Is just such a powerful thing that to this day, both of those shows I still watch. I still crack up. And I'm still incredibly impressed by the work that everybody did on those shows, performing, writing, and so on.
What I love about you sharing about Living Single, so I never knew actually until like maybe a couple of maybe I would say months ago that I guess Max's character was never supposed to be on the show. Like that was a whole she was never supposed. They didn't want Max on the show, and
a lawyer Rass.
And that's the reason why they have her quote unquote being the neighbor across the street is because they were trying to basically write her out of the show, and Yvette actually fought for it and said, if you don't have Max, you don't have a show. So shout out to both.
It was also, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It was brilliant that she lived across the street, but was still a central part of the show. Because usually they would just find some way for her to live in the building too, or live upstairs. And it was iconic that she was as accomplished and strong and outspoken as she was, but she was also the friend that was going to leave her house and always be in your house eating.
Which we all have that. We all have that person. We all have that person. Which,
I always say if I lived closer to JoHo, I would always be at her house eating. I would be Max.
Really
I would be Max if I literally lived near you. Vice versa. If you lived closer to me, girl,
absolutely,
you would have the key.
I would have that episode where they came in with some groceries, and Max went. She just busted in the house and went through. She picked out the Oreos and was like, "Y'all didn't get the double stuff." Like, bitch, you did what?
You don't even live here.
You
don't live here. I live. What about you, JoHo girl?
Okay, wow. I love your answer, because your answers, I feel like they they're rooted in like a really historical context for Black comedy. So I feel a little bit silly that like mine isn't as thoughtful. But I really love Natasha Rothwell so much. Like I think her like her comedy, her writing, and I know she wouldn't necessarily, I don't know if she would identify as a comedian, or like someone who does stand up, but her writing is so brilliant, so smart. Her acting is amazing. Like she embodies the character so well. As we discussed in the last episode, she has so much range, right? Like going from Kelly to Melinda and White Lotus to Melissa and How Did I Alone. Like the range is amazing. I feel like I never feel tired of watching her. I mean, and Kelly's a character I can watch numerous. Like I will often quote Kelly often, like in just my.
Did you see Wonka?
Yes,
I did.
I did like Wonka. It was cute. That's the word. It was very cute.
The one with Chalamet, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I don't like him.
Speaking to Rain.
Yeah. Okay, because she's in that. She's in that one.
She was also in Love, Simon too, as the teacher.
Oh yes, I forgot that. So I loved her in that.
There was one other movie that she was in where she was a pivotal part of the movie. I forget what movie it was.
I know. I've seen. I literally.
But she, again, to your point, she has a lot of range.
She does, and and I feel like there's not a role in which she can't do. And I really just love the way she commits to the work, and also I think her when it comes to her writing, her genius is really there. I also really love. I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm gonna say it's Jay Jordan. Jay Jordan.
I'll take it.
It's like J-U-R-D-E-N. Jay Jordan. Just his delivery is really good. Like I don't do a lot of comedians like that, but I think his delivery is fantastic. I'll listen to a stand-up he did recently. I was like, oh, this man is just really funny, and kept going into it. I feel like in a way that really dances on the line of what's good or what's good or not good to do, especially as a queer Black person. So I really enjoy his stuff, and then I would definitely do like an honorary mention for Michelle Buteau.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Honorable mention.
I think she does.
No, throw her in there.
I mean, like you said two, but I'm gonna do my third one. Fuck it, Michelle Buteau.
It's our show. Throw her in.
It just cannot. Everything she does, I'm like, girl, what? How do you think of this?
She is
genius. I want a new special. I want season 2 of Survival of the Thickest. Yes. I live for Michelle Buteau so much. Michelle, if you ever listen to this, girl, please.
And if
I could watch her in anything.
Same. And if you have not read her book, her book is fantastic. Her book is absolutely fantastic. I will say chapters. I think it's chapter 3 and chapter 5 for me is it's really interesting to see someone be able to kind of take themselves out of the industry and kind of give that roundabout look of what she's going through in the industry, and also still infuse her life into it. I don't know. She just has a way with words, but that woman is everything to me. I've met her maybe once or twice, and she's always been she's one of the people in the industry like yourself where her name supersedes her. When you mention her name, people have always said that she's a great person, and
everyone comes up love her, and she's
okay. And she's friends with Francesca, friend to the show, so that's awesome. Francesca Ramsey,
that is, let me tell you something. Flowers,
yes,
we're giving them
yes.
Francesca Ramsey.
Yes.
Come on, Black excellence. Yes.
Talented in so many ways.
Very that.
Stand-up comedy writing, singing.
That's my sister.
Art.
I love her.
She's so incredibly well-rounded and informed, and has the most gorgeous spirit to her.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. When you walk into a room, you immediately feel it.
Such a truly genuine human.
Such a great person.
She's a great person.
Yeah, great. Yes. More people should be like her.
Yes.
Genuinely, and I say that from the heart of hearts. And if you also light plug, if you have not gotten her wallpaper, what are you doing? Her wallpaper and all of the stuff that she just released is absolutely fantastic.
Each of these people.
Yeah.
I say this in a complimentary way. They're freaks. Natasha's a freak. Michelle, just I'm like, what can you not
do?
Oh,
yeah.
Woman.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of women that I adore, so I will always say, so I'm probably going to get canceled for my two, but I get canceled on this show all the time. I get in trouble for everything I say, child. So don't matter.
The show's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I get in trouble for everything. So number one woman who could just make me laugh from just being herself, Lunel, will always be top tier.
That girl is
my
funny.
favorite
That girl's funny.
woman to watch, whether it be in front of a mic, whether it be a special, whether it be a show.
I just want to go to her house.
I know it's fun. I know it's a time.
Even if it's
yeah.
Nigga, you need to leave in 30.
Yeah.
Or whatever in the kitchen while I'm cooking. She don't even need to make me a play. I just want to be in there watching
her cook.
And just talking shit.
I know it's good. I know it's good. So Lunel always I got a chance to see her during the Netflix is a Joke.
Hilarious.
And her whole entire set, problematic AF, but it was good. I'm gonna give that lady her flowers because that woman is funny. And then second to that, may he rest well. You know what? So two of the people that I named, they're no longer with us, but I feel like their spirit, if you really get to know me and you know me, you'll go, okay, I see it. Bernie Mac and Paul Mooney are very much my other two. If you really get to know me, you'll know the word nigga is my favorite word.
Two of the funniest, literally two of the funniest.
They just literally everything to me. Like there's not like the Bernie Mac show, genius writing in terms of a sitcom. Paul Mooney, like him being able to take social justice issues and being able to make them funny, but also so raw and thought provoking enough to where even you as a black person, you was like, oh, I never thought about that. Like that's crazy. Yeah,
I loved that Paul Mooney, whether it was through his own work and or building with Richard Pryor. Paul Mooney did this beautiful thing where he would say the thing in this crowd of white faces and make them
eat it.
So uncomfortable.
They would just have to eat it.
And they would just have to eat it, but also laugh because the shit was funny. But he was essentially reading black
all
people,
the time.
white people, like everybody. He was saying the thing, and he said it with a little bit of sauce. I love Paul Mooney's one of my favorites.
Paul Mooney, may he rest in peace forever, is just the quintessential, what I believe, like if you are wanting to do comedy, and we're gonna get into that in a second, but if you want to do comedy, like those are the folks that you really should start to study and really look into and start thinking about, like how do you frame your comedy. Like Paul Mooney, Bernie Mac, Lunel, anybody and everybody. I mean, even Queen Latifah to an extent, right? Like coming back to like Living Single, her comedic timing, like
each
just
and every one of them.
Study
Nicole,
them.
Alexander,
all of them.
Had intense. Erica Alexander posted a clip from Living Single the other day, and it was when Max and Kyle had kind of just started to date. And he came up there and asked her out on a date after she just talked all this kind of shit about him, and he like pulled her shoe out that she left at the house and slammed it on like the side of the roof or whatever. And everyone's reaction was a little different. But Khadijah just was like,
you can see them wanting to break.
And the way that she just stared at the shoe, it was all of them just, they knew comedy. Oh, God, what a moment. I really genuinely wish we could go back to that time in history of, like, TV and film.
Okay.
We could study it at the very least.
Okay, so I feel like y'all can go on with this, and I really want that for both of y'all, but we do have to take a quick break. So while y'all throw tomatoes at John for their life choices, we're going to take one little quickie, but we'll be back with more with the PAWD God themselves, Kid Fury. More in a sec.
All right, y'all. So for today's category we are sitting down with the PAWD God, and we are talking about this idea of how do we take what's going on in the world and utilize that as content. And so in this segment that we're calling Laugh at My Pain, we want to talk about Kid Fury, and we want to talk about their comedy, and even talking about the tour that they have coming up. So before we get into the tour and before we dive in and we really start talking about kind of what inspired you to go on this what I'm calling, or at least what I'm manifesting as a world tour, I wanted to ask you, like, how did you find all the stuff that was going on around you funny? Because I'm sure a lot of it was heavy, and a lot of it probably impacted you in different ways. And so how did you kind of, just being real and being transparent, like how did you pull yourself out of that moment where you're looking around and you're going, ain't shit funny, but now I'm gonna still find a reason to make y'all laugh about it?
That's a good question. I think that by the time I decided to turn the experience of my suicide attempt last year into a stand-up show, I was kind of already laughing at it. But by that point, I had been in the hospital. I'd been in, this post-hospital program. I had been, in constant, as I still am, constant communication with my psychiatrist and my mom and stuff. So I was kind of already in the process of healing by the time I started writing. So I don't know, I think just addressing the issue head on and committing to recovery, as scary as it was kind of what set the foundation for me to be able to laugh at it and joke about it. But like my humor is already so self-deprecating in everything, so I never really had a problem telling the story or making a joke about it. I figured I would. But yeah, once I kind of started to feel grounded again after the experience, and felt like I was coming out of the dark, if you will.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel that.
Like, okay, well, what's my assignment and what do I make out of it? And that's how it started.
I know that's right. Yeah, that's right.
The answer is really meaningful. One, for me on a personal level, because when I was younger, I went through a suicide attempt as well too. And when I tell a story about it, to me it's funny, and people are like, "That's so dark."
Right,
right.
I'm
like, yeah. Sure. But like, also like, I fucking like broke my closet doing it. Girl, that is funny. My mom was pissed as fuck at me. She said, "Girl,
right."
Like that is funny. But so I have a question I was gonna be asking you about your creative process, which I do want to ask you, but also want to add like a part 2 of it. So one, I would love to hear more about like your creative process with making the tour. Like, what was it just you making material? Who helped you along the way? But also, what about the tour? Like might actually also be part of the like recovery and healing process.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a really good question.
I think everyone's process in writing comedy for the stage is different. I think I was fortunate here as opposed to when I was touring stand-up before, because this was so much about a story and an experience that I kind of just ran through what happened and found the funny in the moments, and there was a lot of it because this took place at Coachella. So like,
oh wow, okay.
Like, of course, it's hilarious.
If y'all watching the video, the faces Kid Fury is making, it's
right. Yeah, yes.
I mean, so there was a lot to say, not even just about that, because for me, and I think this is just the way that my mind works, there was a lot of zooming out that took place in the actual creative process, and asking myself, well, why did we react this way?
Right.
Why did we feel this thing? Why did we wear that? Like all kinds of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, make it make sense, girl.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense, girl.
Here.
Right.
And so I think like mucking around and all of that was what helped me kind of carve the story out itself. And then the healing part of it, I think, is just, I always use this word like incessantly, assignment. I feel like people in my life are probably so tired of me saying it, but like I do feel a sort of spiritual assignment to communication. And I felt like, I don't know, immediately once I got the strength to start writing or just feeling like I could laugh about it, I was like, okay, this is meant for me to share with others, because I don't have a problem laughing about it. Like, I don't have a problem making fun of myself in this situation. But I think that for many other people who are going through the same thing, and many people don't get as far as I might have. But so
the ideation's there.
Freakishly close.
Very.
Or are just pestered by the ideation constantly. And so I was like, well, I'm going to just be the fool that I am, the natural dumbass that I am, and make fun of my situation, be honest about it. And hopefully it can connect with other people who can see, well, like, all right, this thing happened to him, and he's able to joke about it. I don't really know why the nigga thinks it's so funny, but like maybe it is. You know, like that's, I think that is the healing part of it for me, and the people who have graciously seen it so far, who said like, oh, this really meant a lot to me. I'm going through something similar.
I also think it provides a really different like narrative in the story that people tell like about folks who attempt self-harm and survive self-harm, because the stories we tell is like then that person is plagued by it, and they're forever sad, never joyful again, which is like so untrue. And so I imagine for folks, as maybe for them, if it's jarring for them that you built a comedy tour around it, it's also like this actually could also be your life too. You don't have to like live in that pain anymore either. You can do something different with that and make it something else, and that's really, really incredible. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I was going to say, to your point, I think one of the things I even in my own, like, you know, going through it and going back, sometimes people will ask me about my own attempts when I was younger. And, you know, even up to, I was even saying, like, up till a couple of years ago, I was still in the mind of like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. But I think that there, you know, to that word assignment, I think that's something that we all kind of battle with, because the whole purpose, I guess, of our life is asking the question of like, why am I here?
What am I?
What am I here? What have I been called to do? Why am I supposed to do it? And I even think about, you know, the little moments and me and Joho know this, like, where folks will reach out to us and will say, you know, your show did this, or you said this on the show and it helped. And so I'm imagining that there's someone who goes to your show, their heart is heavy, right? And they're feeling like everything is, you know, what's going on around them. And then you give them that ability to just kind of say, actually, it's you know, it's bad, but it's not all bad. Right. And I think that for me is what's so beautiful about you utilizing your platform that you have to remind people of that. And so I was going to ask, like, how did you get to the title Life is Better? How did you land on that being kind of the sole topic of your show? Because you could have went with it anywhere. Like, you could have done
go with it anywhere.
Right. And really thinking about, like, how does that tie into your life being better now?
So the show was initially, when I first wrote it and performed it, I called it Sometimes Dead is Better.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Dark. Okay.
Now, here's why. Okay. And this used to be a part, I used to explain this in the show when I started touring it, and obviously the name was differently. A few people, I guess, didn't know
They were like,
that was the name of the title.
Yeah.
So when I would say that at the show, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, girl." I'm like, I thought this shit was funny, but I forget.
And I was like, "Ooh, Ashi."
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of my followers are not big horror fans. So
Stephen
King's Pet Sematary has a very classic, like, the line of the book and film is "Sometimes dead is better," when talking about this supernatural graveyard that brings people to life.
I remember that.
And so I think that, like, that was the name of it because I was making fun of my mindset at the time while also, like, paying homage to this silly line.
Okay.
And people were
like, no, it's too far, it's too far.
They said, ooh, girl.
No, girl.
Roll that back.
You keep doing that, so sorry.
Yeah.
But I was also, like, in the throes of it. I had just been out of the hospital. I was feeling, you know, better than I did when I went in the hospital. But again, to the point of, like, assignment and purpose and, like, why am I still here? Why did I survive the attempt? Blah, blah, blah. It was different than when I, you know, went back and punched up jokes and lived more. The reason I think that I changed it to Life is Better, first of all, keep in mind, I met Beyonce between those titles.
Oh, yes, right. So yeah. Life is better. Yeah. And we so before you even walked in here, let's put a pause there. Like, we were like, how do we ask that question without it coming across as if the whole interview is just about you meeting Beyonce?
Because it's not.
This is really about
and also
the PAWD God, right?
But we have
there's no way to act like it doesn't make a difference.
Journalistically, like, you have to act.
Right. So
like,
it's gonna be like, so
it doesn't make sense to not act. Like, how do you not? But also, like,
yes,
it is an important part of the story.
It is,
but like, and, you know, so if you want to share,
we
will listen.
So in between, right? We get in between these titles, and I still want to get to Life is Better, but how did meeting Beyonce make your life better?
I'll tell you why. First of all, I met Beyonce, full stop.
I'm like, what
So,
else?
like,
and did they say, like, I met Beyonce, well, that's better, period. Like,
you can't say anything else. Yeah, full stop.
You have to keep in mind, Crystal and I were asked to be a part of an ad for one of her latest business ventures. And then we were asked to come to an event that she was at. And then we were asked to come into a private room and meet her based off of, and I feel like I'm not gonna cry, but, like, I feel emotion now just talking about it, based off of me being this quirky, loudmouth, queer, Jamaican American, you know, former bullied, you know, now I'll beat your ass type of whoever.
Yes, give it, yeah.
Kid who just moved to New York and was like, friend, will you do this thing with me where we talk shit? And it allowed me an opportunity to communicate with someone who I don't just admire as a pop star, but I say this all the time, I admire her work ethic.
Same.
I admire how
Same.
much I admire how much she means. Okay, let me reword this. I admire how much she knows how much she means to other
us.
people.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I've always admired her. And so I think that it was just like, I was so emotional about that because I was like, nigga, people, and I think I said this on the podcast, people like y'all and everybody else who have been a part of this journey with us for over a decade, crowd surfed us into this room to meet this lady.
Yeah.
And so that, I say, is a part of it because it was a reminder that I'm not just my mama's baby and my daddy's baby, which is enough.
Right.
I've also been able to, by virtue of being myself, experience things that people would only dream of.
That's real.
Of experiencing. That, along with things like my best friend having her first child and being able to see him grow month by month by month. You know what I mean? Little tiny things like building bonds with my siblings. All of these things, I'm like, I don't know what's on the other side of life.
Right.
But I think I prefer the fact that I'm here getting to experience these little things still, even though life still ain't shit and it's still hard.
Honey, let's talk about it.
Still plagued with constant nonsense.
Yeah. Like me having to pay $20 to park across the street. I'm still pissed off about it.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm still pissed, but it is what it is. But yes, to your point, I feel
Price
you.
of bread and oats? What's going on?
Water's still not free? I don't understand.
Gas is $6.99 a gallon out here. What is going on?
Is that a jail?
Yeah.
It's like a lot going on. It's a lot going on. And so I'm just like
screaming.
That's the thing about Life is Better to me, is that it's not I don't find the show to be necessarily optimistic or pessimistic.
Right,
It's just,
right.
This is my experience, and personally, I'm glad I'm not dead.
Yeah, well, no, and I'm really trying to save. We're gonna get to it in a minute later down in the show, but I'm trying to save it, and I'm glad. I am glad. I want to say this, like, in all of the funny of this, I am glad you're still here, because I don't think you would know, and I'll share with you later of how you inspired me, but I would have never gotten to tell you how much you've inspired me and this show and a lot of the stuff I do. And also on top of that, I don't think I would have been able to know people that I know and are very close and connected to you. Like my friendship with Chris and Xavier Delow, my friendship with Jade, like my friendship with quite a few people who are in your circle. I'm grateful that you're still here to inspire all of us to do what we do. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
You know, in the same vein that you said you appreciate that Beyonce knows what she means to people, I really do hope that you know what you mean to people as well too.
That's the thing that's coming off of this. I mean, I've always really, really appreciated people paying any kind of attention to anything from whatever number of people it is, and I think that's also been a huge part of what is giving me anxiety.
I was gonna say,
trying to like, it has to be perfect, and like now I've learned to accept that I'm enough in who I am, give myself a break, and I also am like accepting that my voice matters. And people appreciate it, and that's a one of a lifetime kind of thing. It's such a freakish blessing.
It is. It's a heavy thing to carry. Like when someone tells you that, like, and I want to like acknowledge, like, I know it's heavy, and so like when I say that, I hope you know how much you mean to others. That I don't want to say it to frighten you, because I know it.
Yeah, that's beautiful now.
It's
beautiful now.
You know, and truly, like you both you and Crystal and the read itself.
Yes.
Like those are, you know, three individual things that mean so much to many people, and to people who are right here in front of you. It's really is so special. And I think, you know, something that comes to mind, because like as you're sharing this, I'm thinking of like the idea that as young Black queer people, or even as people in society, anyways, we're all sold this idea that that it all gets better with age.
Yeah.
But no one, and yes, like time heals everything, as Beyonce says, but there isn't as much of a focus as like life gets better when also when you make it so, and having the tools to make it so. And no one talks about what we have to endure and endure to do it. Life gets better, but you also have to fight for it to get better, and to fight for yourself. You got to fight for others, which is why I think the idea of life, the title "Life is Better" is so beautiful, because it's also it sounds like a declaration, and it sounds like a declaration, and it also sounds like a promise.
Yeah.
That you are that, and maybe I'm going way too deep in the interpretation of it.
No, I
don't think so. Thank you. It sounds like a promise that you're making yourself of life is better, and I'm making it so, and
you're telling other people that that's possible. Yeah. I think that's the gap, and that's the thing. I'll even say, sometimes, to your point about it has to be perfect. I'm that. So Joho, if you learn anything about us, Joho's very, mama, it's good. Let's go with the flow. Everything is great. And I'm the girl. Numbers mean things. We got to look at the money. And I'm the very business acumen of the Black Fat Femme podcast. Wow, she's very much kind of the everything is going to work the way it's supposed to. Everything's going to be good. And so I feel that more than you ever know. But I definitely think you're giving people the space and the place to be able to say shit is, and kid you not, people look at us and think that everything is gravy, and I'm like, girl, if you only knew half of the shit we've had to go through to get to this spot, right? But I say all of that to say, leaving here for me, it's I'm gonna be driving home going wow, thinking about where I was maybe 5 or 6 years ago to this point where I'm interviewing the person who literally helped inspired me to put my deck together. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it goes to show that yes, life does get better. It really does get better.
I mean, I feel gets better is tricky for me. I'll be honest, because life does get better.
I should say life is better.
Yeah.
No, but I'm because we always heard it gets better.
It gets better. Yeah.
And
it does. And then it gets worse sometimes. And then it gets better. Life is a roller coaster.
It is.
Of peaks and valleys. I literally tell my therapist sometimes, I'm in a valley right now, or whatever. With that means
not me being in San Fernando. Right.
Right, exactly.
Not me, bitch, being down in San Fernando Valley, Northridge.
It goes alone.
Girl, it's rough over here.
I this thing that life just has potential.
Right.
Life just has never-ending potential. It is beautifully unpredictable.
Yeah, very that.
Do you know?
I guess kind of, we're kind of winding down on this segment, and then we're gonna move into kind of another segment where we talk about healing a little bit more. But I do want to ask, thinking about you and and Crystal and the show and all of that, I think sometimes many of us who are now, and I'm positing us as public figures because I got niggas running up to me on the street.
Right.
It blows my mind at moments, but people see us, right? And so when you are, I'm sure the same thing for you. You're just trying to live your life, and hey, Kid Fury, you're like, girl, I'm just trying to get some coffee. They're being deemed a public figure, and then oftentimes having people in the industry say you're too emotional, or that you're a loose cannon because you're talking very openly about your experience. Can I ask how being public about your mental health has helped your life get better?
I think that it's just one of those things where I don't know how to word this. Again, I have a bit of a self-deprecating sense of humor sometimes, and I think that it's a way for me to just kind of find fun in my imperfections.
Yeah.
And I get, my mental health is an imperfection. It's not, my decision or choice for my mind to work the way that it is, but it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
And all that I can do is find the best ways to manage it. And so I think it's just helpful because it's been a way for me to almost I guess think of it as almost like coming out. It's almost a way for me to just be like, honey,
Yeah.
I'm here and I'm crazy. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a way for me to just wear it on my sleeve.
Yes.
And just rather than, you know, sweeping it under a rug or putting it in a closet and then attributing like shame or embarrassment or something. It's just like, it's a thing. And once I accepted that, you know, it's normal and many people are experiencing it to varying degrees.
Yeah.
It was easier for me to accept and then communicate about it.
I love that so much. And shout out to our Effexor and our Valifaxine baddies. You know, all the girls who are on the blue pills and on the white pills and on the little
pills in general.
All the pills in general, girl. Yes,
Alexa
girl.
Poppies,
Yes. Come on now. Yes. So shout out to
Zoloft Zaddies.
Yes. Shout out. I couldn't do Zoloft. It spiked my blood pressure. But we all right now. It did. It's all right. Yeah.
I guess the final question that I want to ask, and I want to ask a little bit of maybe advice you can give to folks, to our listeners. For anyone who is thinking about using comedy as a vehicle for their healing, what might you be able to offer in terms of how do they, how could they, what, maybe what were some challenges you faced in doing so? How can they learn and grow? How can they find their healing? And I want to be clear, like I'm not actually solve people's problems. So I know, like, you aren't a therapist. Don't like no one did
don't
hit
like Kid Fury up for therapy.
Solve my issues, but like what worked for you?
I know
what
that's
work
right.
for
I
you?
will give bad advice.
Yeah, like you like I do not have a degree.
I'm just honest about me. I mean, from like a performance standpoint, really, and in general, I think using comedy to heal, I suppose I would say look for the truth first, because the truth is the funniest thing. And I guess like the more like authentic and honest and vulnerable you can be about life experiences in general, yours, everyone around you, I think the easier it is for you to kind of find the question of, I think like we were saying before, like, well, why is this? And where is this? And how is it, And then, begin to laugh from there. If it's like, if it's from a performance standpoint, like you wanted to write or perform something, then I would say just write. Start definitely start with a journal if you're not already doing it, because that's just great, like daily writing tool anyway. But it's a good way to just regularly and habitually get thoughts out, and then you can go back and analyze those things. But I would just start writing about the thing that made you laugh. When the next time that you crack up with some shit, or if you laugh at yourself, or you just have a funny thought, write it down and then ask yourself why that was funny, or ask yourself why it made you laugh, and then start, unpacking from there. Or you could just literally be like, I know that I'm going through my third breakup with the same nigga, and I know that this story is crazy, and you can just start from,
Right. I know you're not gonna believe it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right.
I think it's just kind of just finding the truth and going from there.
Yes, and to your point, Kid, I think one of the things I've been doing a lot more, even just this year, is and what I hear you also kind of undertoning is this idea of giving yourself the authority to laugh. I think everybody, especially now in the world that we live in, like everyone's so serious about everything. It's like, politics and rights, and it's like, okay, yes, we can do those things, but also shit is funny, and I'ma laugh. That's that one thing about me. I'ma do. My husband, at the end of the day, some nights I'll just be laying on the couch, reeling it up, and something will hit me, and it's funny as fuck to me, and I just laugh. And what are you laughing about? I'm laughing because it's funny, and I feel like I have the right to laugh. So I think that's the thing. Like, we can't. So many of us are, especially folks who are chronically on the internet, we are taking so much of what we're seeing and it's becoming who we are. And I think to an extent, some of us are losing our joy. And I think that what you're inherently doing with your tour and what your work is, you're reclaiming that. Like, you're reclaiming so much of your joy.
Yeah, our morals don't have to be a performance.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we can just have a good time. There's so much that is not in our control. That the one thing you can do is be like, well, that wig is about to fly off Trump's head. And that shit is funny to me. Honey. Whatever.
Yeah. That's real. All right. So, you know, what a moment that is most pleasing to me in my career. But you know what? This has been just a pleasing moment. But you know what is not pleasing to me is paying bills. But we have to do that around here to keep these lights on. So with that being said, we are going to take a quick moment for us to pay some bills. And then when we come back, we're going to come back with what I like to say is my favorite segment of the show, How You Healing. We'll be back in a sec.
And we are black as fuck. It's been a minute, as John said. It's been a minute, as John said, since we've done this seggy. So I'm gonna first start off by asking y'all, what's something that you used to rag on your parents about, but now as an adult, like, you get it?
I love it.
So, like, for me,
I love it.
Like, for me, it's being tired. Like, as a kid, I'd be on my parents' ass about being tired. They're too tired to drive, too tired to cook, too tired to go up to the city. Like, and I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all just work. It's not that deep. What do you mean you're so tired? Oh my God! When I sit back and think of bless these two people, they had to wake up at like 5 a.m.
Amen.
Shower themselves. We had one shower. They had to shower themselves.
Oh, I couldn't.
Then shower me. Get my bad ass up. Get my annoying ass up. Take my ass to school. Even though I'm sorry, go back. Get me fed. Make sure we're all fed. Take my ass. Take my ass to school.
And you're complaining
the entire time.
Yes.
Take my ass to school. Wham about school. Drive across the fucking bridge over the bay to get to work because they both work across the bay. Be in an hour traffic. Then work all day. Get probably a phone call about me being a badass kid in my school. Then leave work. Come back and get my badass. Pick me up, then take me home, then feed me again just to whine. Bitch, I be tired as fuck too.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, I get it now. I understand. Like, as a working girl who does way too much all the time, I gets it. I too am too tired to get out to change clothes.
I did tell
too
some
tired to leave the house. Too tired to get in the car.
I don't have it.
That's why I don't touch everything. That's why I'm a privileged bitch these days. I will definitely do an Instacart and call that
Amen.
a good day.
Amen.
Listen, that's just what's gonna be. I will do a Whole Foods delivery if I have to do a Whole Foods delivery. Like,
let me tell you something. Light a candle for Miss Instacart.
Okay.
She gets
I know she hate to see me coming
at my house.
I hate to see me when I'm like, delivery.
I won't be at Ralph's this evening. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm going nowhere.
I can't do it.
When my roommate say, hey, do you want to go shopping? I said, but why do you want to go shopping? We can just be home.
Yeah.
And I can just order it right now.
I'm not doing it.
She's like, I get where she's coming from. She's like, but what? She's like, don't you want to pick out your own meat?
No.
I trust the bitch to pick my meat out. I want a pound, so give me a pound. I don't think it's that.
I don't want to go.
I don't want the urge to not go is more than the urge to pick my
I
own
will
meat.
pay to not
Cut
go.
my meat and pick my meat for me. Thank you.
I go to the grocery store when I'm in a good mood. Like,
okay.
I have to go lucky, clicking my heels in midair.
God is good. We praise him every day. Yeah. Hey, how are you doing? Like, that's when I go shopping as well.
I can't do it.
How about you, kid? How about you?
Mine is really simple, and it's just, why is this light on? Like, my dad is like,
oh my God, same. No, the way a light that no one's using. Why is this on?
Why is this light on?
Nobody's downstairs. Why is the light on?
Run the bill up. I'm done.
Yeah. My father used to be pissed.
Yeah.
If it was lights on that didn't need to be come on, to the point where if I was like, and I was a latchkey kid, so like sometimes I would be at home and maybe my father came home from work early and I hear the key to the door, and I would
run the light.
Oh shit! All the lights on.
All the lights on.
And we Jamaican, so I got that you saying to me.
Yeah. All the lights off. Yes, all the lights.
Like,
turn the lights off.
He would be, and not like, as an adult now. I'm just like, and I live alone. And sometimes I will like leave the light on in the kitchen or whatever and come back and I'll be like, the fuck is it?
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. So many of you have listened to the show for years and know that I grew up my family lives in Compton, but my mom moved to San Bernardino, which is about 45, 50 minutes without traffic. But when there is traffic, it's about a 2-hour drive. And so for me growing up, I used to always rag on my mom when she didn't want to take me to LA to see my cousins. It was always like, ooh, Mom, why can't we go to Compton? Why can't we go to Watts to see so-and-so? Like, why can't we hang out with Renee this weekend? And my mom was like, I'm not driving out there. I'm not doing that. Now, as a 39-year-old with a hybrid vehicle, I literally, what was I texting you before I got here? Nigga, it's gonna take me an hour and 35 minutes to get here.
You said
what?
I may not make it.
Like, I may not make it. Because we were supposed to go get food before this. And I was like, bitch, I'm not gonna make it. Because that traffic. And so, you know, God bless Mama Edwina. We speak your name, Mom. I love you. I always talk about how much I used to be so mean to my mom about her not wanting to drive when I was young. But now, as somebody who has to drive into this city and drive out, that for me as an adult is the thing that, it burns my biscuits. I cannot stand driving in the 405, the 10, the 101 to the 138. Fuck it all. I'm gonna stay home.
Those are the type of revelations where I like write a little note to my younger self and I be like, 8-year-old Kid Fury, what the fuck is your problem?
Girl, go sit down.
Your natural ass.
Yes.
Nobody is taking you to Burger King after school today. You don't have Burger King money. You don't have no damn job.
You don't have no damn gas to get there.
No gas.
You don't even appreciate that it's Monday and your mama just went grocery shopping yesterday. It's food at the house.
Yes.
No, you not getting no damn quarter pounder. You're not getting no chicken tenders. Shut your ass up in that backseat.
Yes. There it is. There it is. I feel that more and more as an adult. And I even be doing that to myself when I'm driving sometimes. I'm like, bitch, you really don't have it to sit in this drive-through. Why are you? Just go home and eat. Just go home and eat. You just went grocery shopping.
All the time.
Just went
I
grocery
do this
shopping.
shit all the time.
Oh, listen. So my the way I do it for myself is I go shopping. Time for a little treatsy. I did all this work to shop. I'm gonna get a little treat.
I'm gonna stop at Taco Bell.
Bell was good, my little bitch. Yes.
Let me stop at Milk Bar on the way home.
Listen, I shopped for an hour and a half in this fucking supermarket, girl.
I did
I'm going to buy myself dinner now. Thank you very much.
I know that's right.
Have a good day.
That is.
It really is. It's another job that I gotta do, and I gotta pay for it.
Yeah.
Trash.
And then now I got stairs, so I gotta carry all the bags up the stairs.
And I'm not the bitch to go back downstairs again.
That means
it's one time.
Slice.
Oh, I've learned.
It's one time at all. I will.
That's why
break
an
arm if I have to.
So let's talk about why I was late today. I left my ring on the 3rd floor.
Ooh.
And was on the 1st floor in a meeting because my office is on the 1st floor, and literally stood there for like a minute and was like, I'm gonna be late, but I gotta go up there and get my ring. And I was so mad at myself. But that's also an adult thing for me. Like, I remember used to
Me literally on the way here, like in the lobby, walking out the double doors, looking down, I left my phone upstairs.
Yep. That'll
literally
do it every time.
What, an hour? Literally today.
That'll do it every time. Every time that'll do it.
I scream. Okay, but before you hit your last break, I have to give, just because you just have to lie. It made me think about like my dad, because that man. His my parents' bedroom door could close, and the light in the kitchen could be on. And in my house growing up, the kitchen was so far from the bedroom, but he would just know that it was on. He'd be like, "Jeremy, why's the light so long?" and I'd be like, "What light died?" He's like, "Turn the kitchen light." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, how did he know that?
He would say he could see the slightest glimmer from on the door. And as an adult, relates so hard, because when I'm in my bedroom and my door's closed and I see that fucking little yellow cannot go to sleep. I'm like, why is the light on? I get so mad, and I'm like, I become my father. Yeah,
it
is so wild.
It just happens to you.
Yeah, it really. You don't even expect. You're like, damn.
You do become your parents, because my mom used to be the one. Why are you letting all my good air out? And I was at work the other day. And there was so people know I work for a nonprofit, and there was a youth who had come in and left the front door open. And the first thing I said is, "Baby, can you close that door? Because you letting the good air out."
This AC is
it's too hot.
AC is hauling ass right now. Do not fuck me over.
Don't play with me.
Don't do it.
You messing up the temperature here.
Whoo!
Yes. Close that door.
Okay, before we all morph into our parents, y'all, we gotta take one more break, and also for me to find my bifocals again real quick.
I hate
so we'll be back in just a sec.
All right, y'all. So we are going to get into our last segment, which y'all know y'all love, is our Yes Ma'am and our No Ma'am Pam. And so this week, instead of me actually we're going to ask Kid Fury first what their Yes Ma'ams and their No Ma'am Pams are, and then I'll throw it to Joho, and then I'll go last. So what are your Yes Ma'ams and your No Ma'ams for this, or No Ma'am Pams for this week?
Just anything.
It could be anything, girl.
Roses and tomatoes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my Yes Ma'ams for this week, in honor of it being at the moment of recording, it is early October.
Yes.
It's spooky season.
Yes.
I'm a horror girl.
Yes.
And I'm really enjoying 2 new shows, Agatha All Along.
Please.
Give it.
And a similar witchy show, but a lot more black and brown. Mm-hmm. It is called Domino Day, Lone
Never
Witch.
Heard of it. Never heard of it.
It was just a random suggestion to me on Prime Video one day. It is a black witch who is without a coven.
Oh, wow.
And is up to shenanigans and another coven.
This sounds so good.
Just if you get a chance and you're into that kind of thing.
Tonight. We'll be doing it tonight. Yes.
I'm obsessed.
Okay.
And then No Ma'am Pam. Oh, you know what? This one's really silly. There's a this is dumb. There's a Smile 2. Horror. Smile 2.
Yeah.
I saw the
promo coming down here.
Like,
yeah.
Was there Smile 1? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I think it's Jack Nicholson's son.
His son. Yeah, it's his son.
Oh.
The Smile 2 billboard with his face is incredibly visible outside of my apartment window and my balcony. So sometimes I'll just be like, crack of dawn, I'm going to go, make some tea.
Eyes half closed.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson, and he looks just like him.
Yeah.
This big creepy smile. I be forgetting the goddamn pictures. I'm like, okay, when the movie come out, somebody
can we get this down? Can we
anything else? Pretty Woman.
Yes.
Pick something else. Breakfast at Tiffany. Pick something else. X-Men.
But yes, I definitely coming down. I don't know. I think it was Hollywood Boulevard. I was coming down Hollywood and I saw the big sign and I was like, oh, okay. So yes, I definitely feel it. Well, what about you this week?
I was gonna say literally, I think across the street from the studio. I was like, oh, Smile 2.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a one. And I was like, oh, interesting. I was like,
pretty good.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it was popular.
Just because I'm also a horror girly, so I'm really excited.
I think all 3 of us are.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yes. I got all along. Last episode. I lived that little demon. Did you watch the last episode?
Yeah.
Okay, that little demon bird thing.
I was like, I lived.
I said,
come on,
that
Disney.
That was a lot. I was like, this is a lot for Disney. Wow, they really said, Disney. Fuck it, let's see what happens.
Fuck it, we ball.
Okay, so my yes ma'am. My yes ma'am is gonna be to like my best friend since childhood, since pre-K. His name is Jason. I'm giving him yes ma'am because I hope he hears this. He loves the show. He's been a fan since day one.
Hi, Jason.
But he's the one that actually got me into listening to the read. I'm originally from the Bay, and when we moved back here, I would move down here. I would drive back up a lot, and like 5-6 years ago, I had called him. I was, what you doing? He was like, I'm gonna listen to the read, and I was sad. He was like, you should like hang up on me and listen to the show. And I was like, okay. And the way it has saved every road trip for me because like that must be like 2 or 3 episodes.
Stuff to listen to.
Good to go, and so Jason, if you listen to this, my guy. Yes, ma'am, to you because you got me into the show, which really got me into doing podcast. We wanted to like listen to podcasts and be on podcasts and do podcasts. So it really is a full circle moment. I know he is going to scream when he hears this and when he hears your voice.
Yeah, we've kept this real low.
Yeah,
we've kept it real low. So
like,
people
what
are
the fuck? Like,
going to be
like he's going to probably like actually like shit himself for this. But
hi, Jason.
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you for being yourself.
Yes, ma'am, to you, friend. Thank you for showing the show. Thank you for having me get here. And also thank you for being. He has been a BFF evangelist.
I know that's right. Well, come on, tell the Zorlies to listen, girl.
He goes.
Yeah.
Up in the Bay, he's like, have y'all heard BFF? You do BFF? So it's gonna be yes, ma'am to him. My No Ma'am Pam is gonna be to CNN right now because they just launched their paywall, which I was like, and I understand. I mean, let me back up. CNN for a lot of reasons right now, like CNN and the coverage.
That's why I said, oh Lord,
for a lot of reasons. but at least I can read the coverage for free. And now I got paid for it. And I was like, that is some bullshit. Like, yes. And like, no, I understand the reason. Like, journalism, unfortunately, is a field that is constantly shifting financially. Right. So I get why they want to do a paywall. But like, I've also been dependent on not having to do a paywall with that. Like, it's just...
and every article like now is behind a paywall.
Everything. And I'm like, I can't read one thing. Like, how will I know what happens today with this? Or like, and I mean, now it's like now I can't even shit on y'all because I can't read Richard Raddick. Like, right. So just numbing him to that. And like, again, y'all, I do understand why. I mean, part of me is like, well, you spend money on like all these other things that you can not be spending money on, and you could be saving it for your journalist. But okay, also like you can get other bailouts for the government that they're not giving you. But okay, like that's the other reason that you can do besides making us pay for it, because journalism, as you said before, CNN yourself, should be accessible to all, and here you are making it accessible. But who am I besides just a bitch who reads the damn paper? I guess.
I mean, when you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. So, okay. So, we're now to mine, talking about Yes Ma'am. So I wrote this with a lot of intention. I genuinely wanted to say this week, Kid Fury, that you are my Yes Ma'am. And I wanted to say, I'm so happy that I'm in a place now. So in like, I think it was 2006, 2007, I remember being in my dorm room and I remember watching your videos and I remember seeing you know, just you're doing the stuff you were doing. And I was like, ooh, one day I want to be a blogger, you know, and it was, and again, that's such a cringy term now, right? But I think even in that moment, it was like you were helping me understand that I had something to say. And even though I didn't know how to say it, it was still like you were the blueprint for me to be able to go out and say, maybe one day I could have my own show, or maybe one day I could have my own YouTube channel. I even started my own YouTube channel at one point. Like there are all these things. And so like, as much as like, you know, we talked about earlier in the show, you talking about, you know, this idea of life is better and, you know, the whole life gets better and all of these other pieces, right? I think it is, I'm so grateful for, and I don't even just say Kid Fury, I say for the Kid Furies, who are like you know, that give us the space to say, well, you know what, I learned this on, you know, The Read, and Kid Fury said this, or, you know, Kid Fury said that. And even the whole notion of like, fuck people, like fuck what people think about you, or fuck, like, I think so much of us as Black queer, specifically me as a Black fat femme who's very, very vocal about being non-binary, I'm constantly in my head about what does the world see me as, and what does it see. And so watching you and watching Crystal and watching so many other people has really been able to give me that ability to just be like, fuck them, you know? And I think that for me is so beautiful. So I guess for me in all of this and this, you know, yes ma'am, I think me and Joho both feel very, very blessed to say that we're grateful that we see you not only helping other Black people get on, but you help them stay on. And we just want to thank you. We genuinely want to thank you, because you could have said, nah, girl, little podcast. I don't know who the fuck they is. I'm not doing that. Right. But you made the time to trek all the way down here to West Hollywood to record with us in it. Honestly, like I said, there are a lot of things that have happened in my life. Being in a Toyota commercial was another one. That was something I never, ever thought would ever happen. But this was a moment of like going from a San Bernardino dorm room to now interviewing the nigga who really helped me get my shit in order to get a show on the iHeart Network. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm literally sitting here going, nigga, that's crazy. Like, it's just crazy to be sitting across from you on my show. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. So I hope if there's nothing you take from anything today, I hope you get home. Do you still have your dog?
Yeah.
You hold your dog and you just sit there on your couch and be like, I'm that bitch. And you are. You are, because you have inspired so many people that you may not even know yet. So I just wanted to say that on the mic. And it's not just because you're Kid Fury. It really is because I think I also know that you're a good person. And I've always, like I said, I've heard people speak highly of you. And I just want you to know that you genuinely are that girl, and you've been that girl, and you will continue to be that girl. You are one. You are one of one. You are the only one. So I just want you to make sure that you take that with you. So my No Man Pam, I'm gonna make it quick and short, because I feel like I've been talking a lot this episode, but I will say, my No Man Pam are for the niggas who go into. any place, but specifically Apple. I was in the Apple store yesterday. I had to return something. I actually have to go back to the Apple store today because I'm also returning something. That's neither here nor there. People go into these stores and these restaurants and treat the people who work there like they have all the answers to everything. Can y'all just stop being mean to people who work in service or who work in like customer service? Like, it's just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get out of my car going, I'm gonna go in this store and fuck somebody's day up. Like, I don't comprehend that. Like, I don't comprehend. Like, I've even had people say, thank you so much for being patient. Thank you so much for being so kind. And it's like, people are not being patient and kind with you. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? So it bugs me. It really bugs me. Long story short, there was a woman there going off on one of the tech people at Apple yesterday. And it was like, what for, bitch? Like, now you literally just made yourself look stupid in front of all these people in the store. But on top of that, you still have a phone that don't work.
It's like, you think Tim Cook's gonna come out the back and be like, I got you, girl. Yeah, like, no. It's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Your phone is still broken because you didn't buy Apple Care, and now you're mad because your phone is broken.
And you look dumb.
You look dumb. You look so stupid that you've made these people's day. Like, you've ruined these people's day, and your phone is still broken. Now, where are we? What's the point? So that's my no man Pam. Just y'all, please be nice to people. The world is already on fire, and we genuinely we don't have it. And this is not even behind a paywall. So you don't really like, we could put this one behind a Patreon paywall and make your day shitty, but we didn't. So please be nice. All right, y'all. So we go ahead and wrap this up. Please send your thoughts, your feedback, and all of your stuff to blackfatfempod@gmail.com. We have been getting some messages. We have been getting some folks who've been saying hello to us. So I love that journey for us. You can also send us your thoughts by interacting with us on social media by using our handle blackfatfempod. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter. I'm never going to call it X. On Twitter. We are on Threads. We are on Facebook. You can find us everywhere. And also YouTube. You can watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So go ahead and do that. Tell your mama and your aunties. And we also see the comments there. And we love y'all for watching us. With that being said, before we get into where everyone can be found, keep in mind, next week, October 12th, San Diego, we have a live show. Tickets are available soon. Please buy them. Please come out. Word on the curb is that it is going to sell out. So if you don't have your ticket now, you probably won't have a ticket the day of it. Space is limited and intimate, and we are doing that intentionally. So please go to our Instagram. You can buy the tickets there, diversionary.org. You can also pick up your tickets there. With that being said, Kid Fury, where can the niggas find you?
In these streets.
In these streets.
You can, I'm trying to tell you where you can find me, where I'll be present. And that's a short
tour
list.
dates. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
let them know.
Come on,
tell the girls where your tour is.
On,
tour dates.
/publicist.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a show in New York City on the 24th of October. I will be in Houston and Dallas and New Orleans next month, and I will be wrapping up the year back home in Miami on December 1st.
I know that's right.
You can go to lifeisbettertour.com to get tickets now if you're interested, and you can follow the rest of my antics with one of my besties on a podcast called The Read. And that's wherever you get podcasts, and that's pretty much most of where you'll find me placing energy. Sometimes I post a story on Instagram.
Yeah, I see that.
And that's just Kid
Fury.
Yes.
That's about it.
What about you, baby Joho?
Y'all can find me as usual at Joho Daniels across all socials. My website, JordanDaniels.com. And if not, there you can find me begging for forgiveness, because right now we're in the, by the time this comes out, Jewishly, we're in the 10 days of awe. So I'll be asking people for forgiveness. I don't know what for. I don't know what I need to ask for forgiveness for. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty great.
Yeah, you're pretty good.
I'm like, I don't know what. But I'll be saying, hey, girl, do you need to forgive me for something? If you do, can you forgive me? I had to ask you 3 times before God says it's good. So, like, let me know what's tea on this. Thank you very much. And if you don't forgive me, then I'll just haunt you, and that's fine too as well.
That works.
But yeah, that's where you find me on the curb saying, "Who can forgive me, please?" While I shake some titty for some forgiveness.
I know that's right. Yes. Well, as for me and my house, you can find me over at Dr. John Paul on all the socials. You can also go to www.drjohnpaul.com, where you can click on the book link and you can purchase my book that is for pre-order right now. Black Fat Femme book, honey, coming out March 25th. Get the book, honey, because if you ain't got it, then what you doing? Moo Dang got the book. Moo Dang already. She already asked for it.
Yeah, I saw her the day. I said, Moo Dang.
Yeah, Moo Dang, she got the book.
You got the early access. I see you.
Yeah.
Chomp.
Her people reached out to me and said, can I get a copy of the book? And I said, you sure can. So if Moo Dang got the book, you can go buy the book too. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, everybody. We specifically want to say thank you so much to Bay Wang, our executive producer of the show, who helped put all of this together. We want to thank Kid Fury's people for putting all of this together too. And everybody over at iHeart and the folks who just do the logistics and got this place and space booked for us. It has been a blessing. iHeart. Thank you, Jesus. God bless you. We appreciate you. Chris Rogers, we want to say thank you so much for doing the editing of this show, for being just the most wonderful editor who puts the visuals and the audio together. We could not have a show without Chris Rogers, and so I just, ain't it? Because I'm looking at all these cameras right now going, it couldn't be me. Could be me. I can do it, but I'm not going to. I can, but I'm not doing it. No, ma'am. All right, y'all. Well, this has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember that life will and is continuing to get better. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.